How's it going? In today's episode, I'm chatting to Cameron Faco from Property Central in Penrith. We do a bit of a year in review of 2019. Talk about how the real estate market was like in the Penrith area. Cam also shares his insights as to sort of how he sees things panning out in 2020. Even though it's early stages yet, there's been a few things go on that sort of makes Cam think that particular things may and or may not happen within the Penrith market. Look, at the end of the video, I've just got a couple of links to some of our previous video, as well as a short video that where Cam talks about the tips that he has for both sellers and buyers in the Penrith area. So if you just hang to the end, check those out, that'll be great. Anyway, I'll just begin the episode. So, welcome back to the podcast. Take two. I've got Cam back on the show because I want to be able to. I want to talk about how last year panned out in regards to real estate in the Penrith area.
Yep.
And I guess what's Cam's outlook for this year, 2020, where he sees things going. And yeah, so Cam, last year, how did we start? January, how did we start?
Yeah, it was really slow this time last year. A lot of uncertainty. Just came off a fairly large price correction, sort of probably 10% or a little bit more in most suburbs around the area, which was really difficult for people who had seen their neighbours sell for really good prices over the preceding sort of 3 or 4 years, and then all of a sudden the market just sort of stopped. So that was hard to deal with, which was, we sort of went through that correction all the way through until probably the last quarter of 2019, and then we sort of saw the market recover quite quickly.
And so you said vendors were expecting a particular price, but obviously, as you said, correction. Did a lot of those vendors end up selling, or did they choose not to?
It's all circumstantial. So like people who were retiring, moving up the coast, they already bought, they still sold, probably copped a bit less than what they would have liked, which hurts, but still got to their destination. A lot of people who were thinking of maybe upsizing needed 700 for their place, they're only getting sort of 630, so they pulled them from the market. I've seen a lot of those sellers sort of re-enter the market in the last couple of months, particularly early this year, trying again. Obviously conditions are better, and they can see some good movement upwards, which encourages them to come to market and give it another crack.
So first quarter was pretty slow.
Yeah, leading into a couple of elections there. First half of the year was slow.
Yeah.
Really? Was that if you had to sell, you'd probably sell if you had the luxury of being able to hold off and put your plans on hold. Most people sort of tended to sit on their hands, and once we got through the elections, things looked a bit rosier from there. Definitely.
Yeah. Was it like sort of suddenly after the election, or was it just a slow build?
We had the Banking Royal Commission last year too, which really hurt lending. It was so hard to get a loan. It was almost not worth trying at one point there, because the paperwork that was required, and pretty good candidates would go back 2 or 3 times, and the bank would keep asking them questions and still get knocked back. So that really hurt the market as well, because there just wasn't that many financially qualified buyers ready to make an offer if they liked it, which is obviously king if you're gonna sell well.
So obviously the Royal Commission had a part to play.
Oh, massive! Combine that with the 2 elections and the uncertainty around. I think a lot of industries, not just real estate, sort of really hurt through that first half of last year. Then once it was a bit easier to lend, and interest rates obviously had a couple of cuts in the last couple of quarters of last year, and all of a sudden there was still a lack of stock on the market, but there was a lot more buyers with pre-approval. So that's just jacked the prices up quite significantly.
So when you say significantly, like average, what would you say from the first quarter where it was slow to when?
We'll say it went back about 10% from the peak. I think it peaked officially in June, July 2017. It came back about, I'd say, 10% easily, probably a little bit more, close to 15 in some suburbs, and it's probably rebounded probably 5 to 8% in our market, which is, I think I was reading the other day, it's the quickest rebound across Sydney of all time, from a trough to a peak. Well, it hasn't got back to the 2017 levels, but it's not far off for some properties, which is amazing.
Do you think with the Royal Commission into lending, do you think that helped some buyers in a sense where they may actually not have been ready to borrow initially, but then sort of went back and then had to reassess themselves, and now they're probably in a better position?
Well, extra few months obviously allows you to save a bit more and understand the process. Particularly if you get knocked back, you probably curb your expenditure a little bit and sort of see where you can save a bit of coin here and there. And look, the bigger you deposit, obviously, the more you can borrow. And time is obviously an important part of that process. Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of some of the better performing suburbs in 2019, is it just the usual candidates when you look back on it?
Well, I think last time we spoke about South Penrith. So the last probably 8 to 10 sales in there have all been like significant sales in regards to number of buyers through, number of offers. Some of the price guides we've set we thought were absolutely bang on. To be honest, there's still a lot of buyers who are a bit cautious and won't make an offer, but the ones who are ready will certainly attack the top of that price guide. And we've experienced a number of sales where we've had multiple offers at the top of that guide, which is back to those boom-like conditions, which has sort of inflated that that sort of first home buyer market. Particularly that the first home buyer deposit scheme that's just come in. That will only help to inflate the prices at that first home buyer level. And what about some of the blue chip areas around here? Are they still performing as well as they should be? Or? Yeah, so if you start up the hill, look at Glenbrook. It's always a high performing market. It's hardly been a result up there in the last 6 months. It's just a really tightly held market. So anything that comes on there gets big prices. Leonay is similar. I think Leonay had probably less houses to sell last year than they had for a long time. So I don't know the exact statistics there, but it was significantly less than what they experienced previously. So I think moving forward this year, some of those marquee suburbs might have a bit more stock, and then has a great effect on the market, because if you're selling a home for $650, you're looking at upgrading to something around $1 million plus. There'll be something there for you, which probably wasn't there last year. So
I mean, areas like Glenbrook and Leonay, like those are the areas that people will always pay the money to get into those particular suburbs.
But it's a bit of a sort of, you look at the food chain. If you're selling a house in South Penrith and you're looking to get say 650, 700, you're only selling that if you can significantly upgrade into something say worth around $1 million, that's got the extra bedroom, extra bathroom, bigger block, pool, whatever you're sort of looking for. So people at that 650 to 7 end, they won't put their place on the market unless they can see something they like, or there's enough stock there to probably move pretty quickly on something once they sell their place. And that's why there's sort of a supply and demand problem at that first home buyer level, because people just can't see the next property they want to buy. So that's having an inflated effect on the first home buyer market. And then, look, I think that will flow up the food chain this year. Just need more stock to come on.
You talk about housing. It's always a popular topic, housing affordability. I feel as though we're pretty lucky in this area where although the phrase gets thrown out quite a bit, houses are still generally quite, property is quite generally affordable in this area.
Definitely.
And one thing I like to sort of talk about, or to get maybe some of the first home buyers, and you'll be able to tell me if they're sort of willing to do that, do this particular thing, is that, in terms of the value in this market and around Penrith, where would you see sort of the real good price? So I always look at realestate.com and notice 2-bedroom units like in around Penrith and around surrounding suburbs. They still look like they're pretty good value. Do you find that there's any first home buyers that are looking at those as sort of the catapult to get them into something later on down the track?
I think if you're a young bloke or a young woman, and you wanted to buy by yourself, definitely a two bedroom red brick unit, say on Derby Street, something like that. Great value. You still pick up around the sort of probably 3 to 350 mark. A lot of them. Yeah. If you put 20k into them and do them up, carpet, paint, maybe kitchen and bathroom, just make it really clean. Yeah. It's a great place to live to start with. You walk everything, and then down the track you meet your partner, keep it as an investment property, or it's a great step into having some equity to buy a house. I think most single people tend to either rent with their friends or stay at home with mum and dad until they meet their significant other. So I think that end of the market is probably a good place to start if you're keen to get into it at a young age. But then also there's a big oversupply of units at the moment because there's a lot of development around, and you can buy a unit for anywhere between 300 and 650 at the moment, depending on which development and where it is. So it's a bit of it's a newer, there's some older units in the area, but there's a lot of newer ones as well. And a lot of people tend to gravitate to new as well. It's an interesting space. Plenty of high-rise developments planned.
So you mentioned brand new units. You always there's always a report or some headline talking about oversupply, quality of units, and what have you. You know, you're dealing with customers on a regular basis. You mentioned before how they're starting to look towards brand new. So you find that we're generally doing okay in that area, the brand new units in the area.
Well, that Thornton Estate across from Westfields and the train station there, really popular with investors. And I've got a few mates that actually live in the area as well, who love it just because it's close. You can walk to the station, travel into Sydney. There's little coffee shops under most of the complexes there. Walk across to Westfields, go for dinner. So it's sort of that inner city sort of lifestyle, I suppose, where you don't need a car and you can just get around on foot, and that's easy living. So I think that's attractive, particularly for people coming from the inner city. Potentially, you can buy a unit out here, 500,000 will buy something pretty good. It's a lot cheaper than your town, and you've still got that cosmopolitan sort of lifestyle.
Because I helped someone move into one of the terrace townhouses that are in there. They're really beautiful. The design of them, the layout, they definitely have. It's well thought out. A lot of the designs in the area. That's how I feel. And you've obviously seen quite a few, so you probably.
They're great. Again, great sort of first homes for a lot of young people. Good spot for a downsizer too. Doesn't want to sort of have to drive too far, and is happy to walk, stay active. Great place for them to live. Just being close to everything is a bonus, isn't it? So
and first home buyers, are they still a little bit unrealistic in what they're wanting to get? So they might still be wanting to go for the dream house right now as the first home?
I think first home buyers always spend a bit more if they can buy it and move straight in. With the prices being where they are, like you said, it's more affordable out here. It is, but still both partners need to work to pay for the mortgage. So they haven't got time to. Well, they don't either have the time or want to do work to the property and pour money into it. So if they can pay, say, $700 to buy instead of $650 and do the work themselves, and that they'll probably do it if they can afford it.
And we're talking about the first home loan deposit scheme. How have you seen the reaction to that since it's come to effect January the 1st?
So we haven't had too much to do with that yet, obviously being early in the year. There was a property in South Penrith that we did sell, where I think the buyers had an extra probably $30,000 in their pocket due to that scheme. So they were able to increase fairly significantly from the rest of the field, and bought that really well. Due to that, I suppose, extra bit of money in their pocket where it hasn't been available to them previously. So as I said before, I think that will probably just inflate the market more so than make it easier. Everything that there's always the pros and cons of things they implement. So is it easier to buy? Yes. But do the prices go up? Yes. So some people will still not be able to get into the market due to
the prices.
Affordability.
I I think I was talking about this the other day where, I was not worried, but talking about the intended effect of it is to get home buyers into the market, but then at the same time you're then creating more competition, and with more competition, prices go up, and then you're probably left probably back at square one where housing is unaffordable again. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I've seen a few reports, not from Victoria, and like the report was saying it's really good, like the people that are in the market, it's gone up and all that kind of stuff. So, but it'll be interesting to see how we're affected around here. So, as you said, it's coming to the end of January now. People coming back to work, school starting. So you'll probably see it maybe from this weekend, next weekend onwards.
Well, in a traditional real estate market, nothing happens until after Australia Day. Reason being is everyone's sort of back at school and work. School holidays are finished. So then it's just a safer time to sell when everyone's back thinking business and real estate. And over this, we've had some really good results earlier this year, which is unusual. I normally don't work until late January myself, just because it's a good time to have off because not much happens. But came back on the 6th this year, and I've seen the benefit of that with some really good results early. Which is not didn't get a great holiday, but work-wise it's been a good start. So people will be looking to get it from the conversation that you've had so far earlier on in the year. Are we hearing a lot of vendors looking to get in the market, a lot of buyers are looking to buy? I think a lot of vendors are really excited to get their properties on because they know it's a good time. We've got a couple of things coming up where they're relocating, a couple of people are retiring, one's moving to Lake Macquarie, another one's moving to Southwest Rocks, which is where I sort of holiday mostly, so that's a great move for them. They'll love it up there. So if you're selling your long-term property to go into a different market, it's a really good time. Where if you're selling, as I said before, something that's more of a first home buyer's property and you want to stay local, it's hard to envisage your next property a lot of the time because there's not much on the market. Say between 9 and 1.1, there's not a whole lot of choice, particularly if you really want to buy in one suburb. It's probably one or two houses max, and if they're not suitable, then you're looking at renting for a while or moving in with the in-laws, which it's not everyone's cup of tea, mate.
But I mean, if it's able to get you to
where you want to
be, then I think sometimes you've got to make the sacrifices that you have to make.
And the only other option is your bridging finance, where you buy first and then sell. Which, look, in this market, if your broker suggests that you can do that, then it's not a terrible thing to do because you could certainly whack yours on as soon as you find something, and changeover shouldn't be too tough in regards to financials. But there's a million different options out there. You just got to be confident when you choose one that you can execute it really well.
And that's where it's important to have conversations with real estate agents to get an idea of the process, mortgage professionals. It's sellers and buyers. You really do need to be, educated. You need to know what's going on if you do want to make things easier for yourself.
That's right. Knowledge is important. So, first thing, just get an agent out and have a rough idea of what the property's worth. Speaking to your broker is enormous because he'll let you know what you need to do in order, whether you need to sell first or you can buy first, bridging finance, what sort of deposits required, what sort of equity you got in your current property. There's a million different options there. But your broker's a great port of call in regards to what you can and can't do. Speak to your agent, put a plan in place, and then rip in.
So 2020 should be a pretty good year, compared to last year.
I'll say at this point, it's definitely a seller's market from what we've seen the first sort of 4 weeks of 2020. What happens long term, I'm not sure. At the moment, it's a bit of a perfect storm with lots of backlog of pre-approvals and not much stock. I do get the feeling that February, March, we should see more stock come to market. We hope that's just the way it should work based on the lack of numbers so far. If we get to March, April and there's a bit more supply, and a lot of those buys have all bought. That might even it up a little bit again. Can't see this growth continuing. But I think it will just be pretty plain sailing. Should be pretty steady for most of the year, I think.
Yeah. No, sounds good. Anything else that you want to cover off? Looking forward to the year?
Looking forward to Manly having a successful rugby league campaign.
Okay, let's just quickly touch on that. So Manly, how are they going to go this year?
They look good, mate. I reckon they were a little bit unlucky last year, but improved under Desi. So I think they're pretty confident. Top 4 definitely.
Yeah.
And then stay fit.
And who do you think they play in the final?
I like Parramatta. I hate Parramatta actually, but they've got big outside backs, recruited well, a couple of big forwards there. Regan Campbell-Gillard, they might have a go this year, didn't have a go last year at Penrith, so he might have a go this year. And Ryan Madison is a great player, played for the Chooks a couple of years ago when they won the comp. So I think they're on the upward swing as well. Canberra should be thereabouts. Chooks are always pretty handy.
Warriors probably finish in the top 4, you'd say?
I'd say the Warriors will probably die on the arse mid-season like normal.
I think I've got a good feeling about this year.
Good feeling.
Well, see, this year everyone's talking us down. They're like last year, because we had a good year the previous year. They're like, oh yeah, the Warriors are going to do all right, but we ended up like dying in the arse. But this year everyone's like, oh, Warriors are going to be useless, and that's when we come in and we just pounce, and then before you know it, we're in the grand final.
Mate, you might pounce over the Titans for 15th, I reckon.
Well, that's a guarantee. I can guarantee you that'll be the case. But they'll probably finish wooden spoon again.
I think so.
I mean, they'd be. Do you see them lasting much longer?
Oh, I reckon this Justin Holbrook, the new coach, he has to get some wins this year, because if they have another 2 or 3 losing seasons, they'll have to relocate or rebrand or something, because you can't have a franchise performing that poorly with no following. In the national competition when they're looking at expansion, it just won't. Just won't work. So.
But would the NRL let that happen though?
It's the NRL, mate. They change their mind like the weather. So who knows?
Anyway, Cam, thanks for coming back on.
All good, mate.
And look forward to seeing how the year pans out.
Me too, mate. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks,
Cheers, buddy.
So there you have it. Unfortunately, Cam did a good job of basically destroying any credibility he had as a real estate agent by talking about Manly. But, that's Cam. Any opportunity he has to mention Manly, he'll take it with both hands. Look, if you could just subscribe to the channel, that'll be great. Will help me out a lot. And as I mentioned before, there's a couple of videos here where Cam features in it that I think will be well worth your viewing. So anyway, until the next episode, catch up.